I want you to close your eyes for a second. Just put yourself there. It is 2 a.m.
The witching hour.
Exactly. The bars have just let out. Or, maybe you're in the middle of a brutal work bender and you are just absolutely starving. You walk through those heavy glass doors, the little bell chimes above you, and you are immediately hit with a wall.
It's a sensory wall. I mean, there's really nothing else quite like it.
Yeah, it's that very specific cocktail of, let's see, bacon grease, strong coffee, industrial strength floor cleaner, and that aggressive blast of freezing cold air conditioning.
Oh, yeah. The AC is always on full blast.
Always. And before the door even swings shut behind you, you hear that chorus ring out.
Welcome to Waffle House.
It's practically Pavlovian. So you slide into a yellow laminate booth and you look around. You see servers wiping down counters, calling people hun and sweetie, shouting orders to the grill. To the untrained eye, and I'm including myself in this, it looks like a well-oiled machine. It looks like a syrup-covered happy family.
And that right there is the deception, because we have a massive stack of sources for this deep dive today. We're talking first-hand accounts from veteran servers, sociological breakdowns of diner culture, industry analysis, and they paint a completely different picture.
A much darker picture.
Very much so. If you peel back that layer of Southern hospitality, you aren't looking at a family reunion, you're looking at a battlefield.
And that is exactly our mission for today's deep dive. We are unpacking what the sources call the waffle gridiron. We're going to decode the survival tactics, the psychological warfare, and the brutal economic strategy hidden behind that friendly diner banter.
Because the core of this, the really fascinating part, is trying to translate the internal monologue of a server.
Yeah.
When they smile at a coworker, what are they actually thinking? Because according to these accounts, when a server clocks in and says, "Hey girl, how you doing today?" Oh, that is not a greeting.
It's a tactical assessment.
Exactly.
That sounds intense. I mean, you think they're asking about your day, but the sources say they're actually calculating your weaknesses?
Precisely. They aren't asking if you're happy. They are asking, is she hungover? Is she moving slow today? Is she distracted? Can I box her out of the good section?
Wow.
It's a zero-sum game for tips. Every dollar you make is a dollar I don't make. And that turns the diner floor into a highly competitive, cutthroat market ecosystem.
Okay, so let's map this out, because if this is a war, we need to understand the terrain. The sources refer to this as the anatomy of the floor.
Right. And the first rule of the floor is that geography is destiny.
See, I've never worn the apron. I always assumed a seat is a seat. If the place is full, everyone makes money, right? Why does it matter where the customer actually sits?
It matters because the floor is heavily stratified economically. I get to look at two things: ticket average and turnover rate. Not all square footage is created equal.
Break that down for me. Give me an example from the text.
Okay, look at the low tops or the counter seats. In the industry, this is often called the penalty box.
The penalty box, why?
Yeah.
You're right in front of the grill, you get your food fast, it seems efficient.
From a customer perspective, sure. But for the server, it's high stress and incredibly low yield. Think about who sits at the counter at 3 a.m.
Usually a single guy having a coffee and maybe, one waffle.
Exactly. That is maybe a $6 or $7 ticket.
Yeah.
Even if he's feeling generous and tips you 50%, you made $3.
Right.
And here is the kicker. Because he's alone, he might camp.
Oh, camp! Just sit there taking up space.
Yes. He might sit there nursing that bottomless coffee for an hour while he reads a book or stares at his phone.
So you're doing the work of refilling his coffee every 10 minutes for a $3 payout, and that completely blocks the seat for an hour.
Yeah.
That is terrible math.
That's a bankruptcy model for the server.
Yeah.
Now compare that to the big booths.
The promised land.
The promised land. This is where the family of 5 sits on Sunday morning, or the group of 6 friends crashing after a concert. You're looking at a $60, maybe $80 ticket there.
And a 20% tip on that is $16.
Right. You could work one booth for 45 minutes and make 5 times what the counter server makes in the exact same hour.
That's wild.
So getting assigned the right section isn't just a preference. It literally determines if you're paying rent that week or not.
It is a matter of financial life and death for that shift. Which naturally leads us to the first major ritual described in the logs, the shift change.
This is where the battle lines are drawn.
This part stressed me out just reading it. It sounded less like swapping shifts and more like a hostile corporate takeover happening over a pot of decaf.
It's the initial sizing up.
Yeah.
When the oncoming servers arrive, and they usually get there about 10 minutes early, they are scanning the room like Terminators.
Looking for any advantage.
Exactly. Who from the previous shift called out? Who looks like they haven't slept in 24 hours? They're actively looking for cracks in the defense so they can exploit them immediately.
There's one detail here that I loved. The dry erase marker power play.
Oh, yes.
It seems so small, but the sources say it's pivotal. It's basically the totem of power.
It really is. Usually, there's a whiteboard layout of the restaurant in the back. The person holding the marker gets to assign the sections for the shift.
So if I grab the marker, I just give myself the big booths.
Or, even more strategically, you assign your biggest rival to the counter.
That's ruthless.
So you might see a server casually walking in, smiling, maybe bringing donuts for the team, but her eyes are locked on that marker. She is mentally calculating how to manipulate the floor chart before she even clocks in.
It's territorial. It's so primal.
It sets the tone for the next 8 hours. But once the shift actually starts, the strategy shifts from macro the map to micro. This is where we get into the tactics of the wolves.
The wolves, I like that imagery. So we've got the map, we've got our section, but you can't just stand there, right? You have to defend it.
Or expand it. The most common offensive maneuver mentioned in the accounts is the To-Go Interception.
Okay, explain the rules here first. Because normally, I assume whoever answers the phone gets the order.
Technically, management usually dictates a rotation. To-go orders are easy money. You bag the food, you take the payment. You don't have to refill drinks or wash dishes. So everyone is supposed to take turns to share the wealth.
But the wolf doesn't care about sharing.
The wolf treats the rotation as a suggestion. Let's say the phone rings. The wolf, who has been complaining all night about her back hurting and moving slow suddenly, turns into an Olympic sprinter. She rushes the terminal.
But she can't just shove you out of the way, right? That would cause a massive scene in front of customers.
And that's the brilliance of the move. She frames the theft as a favor. She looks at her victim, maybe a newer server who is busy wiping a table and mouths, "I got it, sweetie. I know you're busy."
Wow, so she's stealing money right out of your pocket, but she's acting like she's saving you from extra work.
It's gaslighting, pure and simple. If you call her out, you look like the jerk. She'll say, "I was just trying to help you. Why are you so ungrateful?" It is a very high-level social maneuver that relies entirely on the victim being too polite to make a scene.
But that's just the verbal side. There's a physical aspect to this too, specifically around the grill. The register box out. Reading this part felt like reading a basketball commentary.
Yeah, this is unique to the diner environment because of the call-in system. We should probably clarify this for the listener.
Right. In these classic diners, you don't usually type an order into an iPad and have it silently appear on a screen in the kitchen.
No, you have to yell it. You stand on a specific mark on the floor, literally called the mark, and shout, "Pull one bacon, scatter, smother, cover."
It's practically its own language.
Exactly. It requires rhythm, volume, and visibility. The grill operator, the cook, can only listen to one person at a time. So the tactic here is to break the victim's rhythm. You're standing there, taking a breath to call your order, and wham! The wolf bumps past you.
Like setting a pick in the NBA.
They physically block your view of the grill. They step in front and scream their order first.
Does that really make a difference, though? Like a few seconds of delay?
In a diner rush, absolutely.
Yeah.
The wolf's food hits the grill first. Their table eats 10 minutes earlier because they hit the grill cycle perfectly. Their table turns over faster. They get a new table sooner.
It's a compound interest of tips.
Exactly. It creates a snowball effect of efficiency for the wolf and inefficiency for the victim. You are left standing there holding your ticket pad while they're already cashing out.
It's ruthless efficiency. But I think the most insidious tactic, the one that actually made me kind of mad reading it, is what the sources call counterfeit camaraderie.
This is psychological warfare at its finest.
We touched on it with the helping you out excuse, but this is about faking weakness, right?
Yes. The expert analysis in our sources suggests that a server will intentionally complain about being in the weeds, which means overwhelmed, to lull the competition into a false sense of security.
So I hear my coworkers say, "Oh my God, I'm drowning. I can't take another table." And I think, okay, great. I can relax. I don't need to fight her for the next customer. She doesn't even want it.
Exactly. You lower your guard. You might even go to the back to refill your coffee or check your phone. And then the second, a lucrative six-top walks in.
She miraculously recovers.
Instant recovery. Lazarus rising from the dead. She snags the table. She manipulated your empathy to clear the field for herself.
That is so cynical.
It's survival.
Mm-hmm.
But it takes a toll. There's one scenario in the notes that really highlights the physical and mental strain of maintaining this level of vigilance. They call it the Nicotine Standoff.
Oh man, this
The-
painted such a vivid picture. I think anyone who has worked in the service industry knows this exact feeling.
It's a physiological stalemate. Picture it. The rush is finally dying down. It's 3:30 a.m. A server is desperate for a smoke break. They have their hand on the back door handle, lighter in hand. But then they freeze.
Because they know Brenda is watching.
They are doing the math. They realize that in the 3 minutes they're outside, their rival is absolutely going to steal the next walk-in customer.
So they don't go. They let go of the door handle.
And now you have a biological time bomb. You have a person who is nicotine deprived, sleep deprived, and fueled by massive amounts of diner coffee. The source describes the result as simmering rage, masked by a tight smile.
That explains so much about the service I received late at night. That tight smile is literally holding back a primal scream.
It's a pressure cooker. If you want to make it in this environment without exploding, you cannot be passive. You need a defense strategy.
So let's pivot to the survival guide section of the sources. The logs are very clear. Sheep get slaughtered here.
Right.
What is the #1 defensive measure?
Without a doubt, it's the Grill Operator Alliance.
This was fascinating to read. The hierarchy isn't what it looks like to the outsider at all.
Correct. You might think the manager runs the diner, but at 2 a.m., the manager is in the back office doing paperwork or counting the safe. The grill operator, the GO, runs the floor. They are the gods of the linoleum.
It makes sense when you think about it. They control the product. If the cook stops cooking, the restaurant stops existing.
Exactly. So the strategy is to build an ironclad alliance with this person. You bring the gallo fresh coffee without them asking. You make them laugh. You defend them when customers complain about the wait. You become their favorite.
And what's the payoff? Does it really translate to more money?
Preferential treatment. If the gallo likes you, your food comes out fast. It comes out perfect. Your hash browns are golden and crisp. Your steaks are cooked exactly right.
And if the Geigo doesn't like you, or if you're the wolf and you've annoyed them,
Oh, it's subtle but devastating. Your tickets get misplaced. The cook says, "Oh, I didn't hear you call that. Call it again." Your eggs are slightly overcooked. Your toast is cold.
which directly affects your tips because the customer blames the server, not the cook.
Directly. The Geigo is the ultimate shield. If you have the cook on your side, the other servers can't touch you because you control the flow of food. It's asymmetric warfare. You aren't fighting the other server directly, you are turning the environment itself against them.
I love that. But sometimes you do have to fight directly. The guide talks about assertive positioning.
This is all about body language. You cannot be timid. When that door chime rings, you have to make eye contact with the customer before the wolf turns around. You have to physically own the space around the register. You block the path.
And if that fails, if Brenda is actively trying to poach your table right in front of you,
Then you use weaponized kindness.
this is my absolute favorite move in the entire source text. It's so passive-aggressive, it's high art.
It's public accountability. It works because it leverages the customer's presence.
Walk us through it. Brenda tries to take your table. You don't get mad.
No, anger makes you look unstable and unprofessional. Instead, you get loud and incredibly sweet. You say, "Oh, Brenda, you are working way too hard, honey. Don't you worry, I've got this one. It's my turn. You go rest your feet."
And you say it loud enough for the customers to hear.
Exactly. The customer thinks, "Wow, what a supportive team player."
Oh, yeah.
But Brenda knows she has been checkmated. She can't argue back. She can't say, "No, I want to steal this tip," without looking like a monster in front of the exact people she's trying to serve.
It traps her in the social contract she was trying to break. It's genius.
And really is, it utilizes the audience, the customer,
Yeah.
as a weapon.
Now, we can't fully grasp this without discussing the climax story provided in the source material. This is a specific war story from the logs that really brings all these elements, the geography, the tactics, the alliance, together perfectly. It's labeled in our notes as the church van incident.
This story has everything: high stakes, clear antagonists, and a brilliant strategic resolution.
So let's set the scene based on the text. I'm going to put myself in the shoes of the server here, the one the notes call the survivor, facing off against Sarah.
And Sarah is described as the ultimate wolf.
Right, so it's Saturday night, peak chaos, the bars are closed, I'm having a terrible night, getting stuck with all the low tops. Sarah has been sniping tables all night, doing the To-Go Interception, blocking the register. She is dominating the floor.
And then the catalyst arrives.
A church van pulls into the parking lot. Now, for those who don't know, why is a church van such a big deal? Isn't it just a big table?
In the diner economy, that is a whale. We're talking 15 people, maybe a youth group returning from a trip. That is a massive bill. Even with a modest tip, You are looking at $40 or $50 in 1 hour from one single table. That can make or break your entire week.
So the shift freezes. It's a Wild West standoff. Everyone knows exactly what that van represents.
And Sarah makes a first move.
Right. She grabs a stack of menus and speed walks to the door. She uses the fake help tactic we talked about. She throws a smile over her shoulder at me and says, "I'll handle this, hun. You go wipe the low tops."
She's trying to banish you to the penny slots while she hits the jackpot.
Exactly. But relying on the logs here, I have an ace in the hole. The Grill Operator Alliance.
This is where the groundwork pays off.
I don't argue with Sarah. I look at Dave, the grill cook. I just catch his eye. Dave gives a tiny nod.
And then what's the counter move?
I step physically in front of Sarah, assertive positioning, and I address the youth pastor leading the group directly.
The killing blow.
Loudly. I say, "Welcome, come on in." Sarah's just saying she needs to go restock the syrup in the back, but I have tables ready right now.
Restock the syrup. That is brutal.
It's weaponized kindness perfection. I frame Sarah's departure as a necessary task. Sarah is standing there holding menus, looking like an idiot. She can't say, "I don't need to restock syrup," without starting a fight in front of a youth pastor.
And the victory lap.
I gently take the menus out of Sarah's hands. And this is the absolute kicker. Because of the alliance, Dave the cook drops 15 orders of hash browns on the grill before the ticket is even called.
He knew.
He knew. He started cooking for me before I even took the order. Sarah is left twitching in the background, completely shut out, while I secure the bag.
It demonstrates perfectly that the waffle gridiron isn't just about working hard. You can work incredibly hard and still go home broke.
It is a complex ecosystem of territory, alliances, and resource management. If you don't play the game plays you.
It really changes how you look at a late-night breakfast.
It should. When we walk into these places, we just see the food and the service. But underneath, there is a high-stakes game of strategy being played out in real time.
So to summarize all the sources we've looked at today, it's about surviving the invisible economy.
And here's our advice to you, the listener. The next time you find yourself sliding into a laminate booth at 3 a.m., craving that pecan waffle, look closer.
Don't just watch the food being cooked. Watch the eyes. Watch the footwork around the register. Watch who brings the cook a coffee.
Recognize that beneath the friendly banter and the huns and sweeties, it is the Wild West back there.
And maybe, just maybe, tip a little extra. Because they are fighting a literal war for it.
Absolutely. Respect the hustle. But before we wrap up, I want to leave you with a final thought to mull over.
Let's hear it.
We've been dissecting the diner floor, but think about how this microeconomy applies to your own world. The office you work in, the corporate ladder you're climbing.
Oh, that's a great point.
It's all the same gridiron, just different uniforms. So ask yourself tomorrow morning, who is holding the dry erase marker in your department, and are you letting them assign you to the penalty box?
Something to think about.
Thanks for taking this deep dive with us.
Until next time.
See you then.